Hey guys, how you doing? So it seems that I took my time in Melbourne for granted a little bit in terms of the quality of jiu-jitsu instruction and things like that. Um, Most of you probably don't even know there's so much jiu-jitsu around Australia now that the first black belts were in Melbourne. That was Peter Devine and John Will, and then after that, more people started coming over and moving to Sydney. So Sydney and Melbourne were kind of like the two big jiu-jitsu meccas. And Queensland was like more into boxing and kickboxing and MMA and stuff like that. And it just blows my mind the way that some academies still carry on like it's the late 80s or 90s and stuff like that. I just had a female student join our gym, and her in one of her first classes at the gym she started with, she had her nose broken by a crazy like 19-year-old white belt. There was no overseeing her training or rolling by any of the instructors. And so she found she didn't enjoy the culture there, obviously. And then she went to another academy, and she's literally just recovered from some sort of abdominal surgery because they were taught some flying, rolling thing into knee ride, and she was paired up with someone, much like literally double her size, who landed on her abdomen and smashed it. So she's had to spent 3 months recovering from that. And as well as the instructor telling them not to wash their belts because they'll lose all their superpowers. And for those of you who don't know about this whole belt washing thing and where it comes from, is because people used to wash their belts, their colored belts, in order to fade them, to make them look old, because before there was all these stripes and regulations and stuff like that, basically the more you trained and the longer you trained, the older your belt looked. So like you could look at someone's belt, and without stripes or anything like that, you've really only got that to go by. And you could look at their belt and see how long they've been training. So, of course, what some people started doing was like trying to wash their belt a lot and dry it in the sun to fade it, to make it look old and make themselves look more experienced than they were. So the instructors made up this ridiculous thing about it losing your juju or whatever to stop people trying to do it. And it's become a whole stupid thing in Brazil. I've never been into it. I wash my belt like every couple of weeks or so. I dry it in the sun every day, and like the rest of my gi, I don't wash it every day, but because I'm not rolling every day, it's not. But if it's wet at all, then it, from sweat, then it gets washed. And I've got, 3 or 4 belts that I rotate through and stuff like that. But it just amazes me that in today's world, there's still instructors, and they are, they are from Brazil, and they do have these old school ways of just smashing white belts and not caring about them. And, and it's an older female white belt. So you would think that they would really look after this person and make sure that they weren't injured and things like that. And it just blows my mind, it absolutely blows my mind. There's no structure in their training. They don't belong to any particular association. They don't have a curriculum. There's no criteria for gradings. It's just out of control sometimes. It just blows my mind. And it makes me so fortunate to be a part of the Pedro Sauer Association and for things to be so transparent. And yes, we have a curriculum. You're allowed to teach outside of it. There's no problem with that. Like, that's the minimum requirement. So in the curriculum, you don't really get into half guard stuff until you've got your blue belt. But I mean, I teach a lot of the blue to purple curriculum to all the white belts, because I mean, they're in the class anyway, and we've got blue belts in there, it's good for them to learn. You know, I still consider a lot of that basics, like everything up to purple belt is kind of basic. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because it seems that there's still people like this around. I mean, it's good for my business. I have like loads of people come to my place who have just like had the absolute snot beaten out of them at other academies, and you know, they make the journey to our place, hoping that it's different, and then they find out that it is. It's professionally run. The mats are always spotless. There's a gym near us where like literally every single person gets staff at least a couple of times a year, because they have like boxing guys with boxing boots getting out of their car, walk across the car park, excuse me, get on the mat, walk around on the mat, not give a shit about the Jiu Jitsu guys. You know, you got the wrestling guys doing the same thing. So you got boxing guys and wrestling guys, and a lot of the striking guys never care about what they're doing with their feet, whether they're what they're standing on, because it's not a part of their culture. They don't put their face where they put their feet, you know. So a lot of the striking arts and you know, wrestling's notorious for staff. And the only time I've ever had staff is after a wrestler from a local gym in Melbourne, when I was down there, visited our academy. Visited it once, closed the whole academy for 3 months. Every single person got staff from that guy. And so I'm fanatical about hygiene. I think it's always a really good indicator. See how clean their bathrooms are. You know, I clean my bathroom twice a day, every single day that the gym's open. You know, I clean the mats twice a day, vacuum them twice a day. I want the whole place to be exactly the same for every single class. So if you train in the morning and then you come and train at night, the condition of the mat should be exactly the same. I mean, we'll have a couple of kids' classes beforehand, but you know, for the most part, the mat remains the same twice a day. It gets cleaned twice a day, vacuumed twice a day. The whole place gets vacuumed twice a day. Bathroom gets disinfected twice a day. I'm fanatical about it, and I just want people to be safe. It's one less thing you have to worry about. And yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because like this is just, it's just crazy, the stories that I hear around Queensland about the level of, or the lack of level of hygiene and coaching quality and all these sorts of things. And it, yeah, just makes me really grateful to have pretty much started my journey in Melbourne, where there was, you know, always very professional, high standards between the academies. Have a great day. Bye.